Welcome everyone to okay, I'll just start over. Sorry about that. But good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's transfer session on HBCUs, historically Black colleges and university. My name is Taj Marie Rowe. I'm a Lord Fairfax advisor here. Along with me is Mrs. Lavonda Taylor, who is also an advisor, and our special guest, Briana Hudson, who is an LFCC alum. She will be sharing her experience today when she transferred to an HBCU here in Virginia, Norfolk State University. Now, as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, we felt that it was fitting to highlight some of the African American legacies. And part of that legacy is in itself HBCUs, intellectual powerhouses. And so we would like to share with our students that it is also possible to transfer with ease from Lord Fairfax to an HBCU. Now, many of you, maybe like myself, may have heard or seen the experiences of HBCUs through the television, just your screens at home, maybe through TV shows like The Cosby Show, when Denise went to Hillman College, or through different worlds when there was a step show at Gilbert House. And so if you did forget, I would like to share that experience with you. So while we just take a step in the past, I'll show you a quick video here. Okay, if it will just work with me today. Now, how many of you remember that scene if you are familiar with The Different World? I cannot get enough of that. Now, before we dive into our discussion today, some few points that will be highlighted throughout our presentation is the history of HBCUs, its location, some of the myths that needs to be dispelled, and benefits attending an HBCU, as well a little bit about the culture as the one you just saw on the video. Most importantly, we will be discussing the guaranteed admission agreements that LFCC has with some of the HBCUs in and around our area. After which we will be hearing from Briana Hudson about her experience transferring to an HBCU. Now, according to the Higher Education Act of 1965, as amended, it defined HBCUs as any historically Black college or university that was established prior to 1964. HBCU's main principal mission was and is the education of Black Americans, and that is accredited by a nationally recognized accrediting agency. But how did it all started? Well, according to the National Center of Education Statistics, these institutions were found and developed in an environment of legal segregation. So during the Jim Crow era, it was established to provide access to African Americans through higher education. How did it all come about though? And so a little bit of history. From research, I've realized that HBCUs started in the in the city of Philadelphia when Richard Franklin Humphreys came from the British Virgin Islands. And he was a Quaker, a silver Quaker. And so he came to the United States after the race riots. And so he had extended generosity and dedicated at least 1/10 of his estate to establish the Institute of Colored Youth, now known as Cheyney University. Now, Cheyney University is one of the oldest HBCs in the United States, and so it is still in operation today. It is located in Pennsylvania, and it was founded in 1837 when it was first called the African Institute. Now, Alabama is the state with the most HBCUs, totaling 14 institutions. HBCUs help diversify STEM fields with a minimum of 25% of African American graduates receiving STEM degrees. Now, there are approximately 107, some may argue 101 HBCU in the United States, with at least 56% of them being under private control and 51% under the public control. Now, HBCUs typically locates within the south or eastern part of the United States. Now, some of the myths that surround and some that you may already know or have heard of is, for example, one, it serves only Black people. Now, although HBCUs were originally founded to educate Black students, they enroll students of other races as well, and diversity has since then increased over time. According to the National Center of Education Statistics, in 2018, at least 24% of students at an HBCU identified themselves as non-Black. Another myth surrounding is that it only has Black faculty. And though in the 1800s to the early 1900s, HBCU faculty were predominantly white faculty members. This has evolved, and now the faculties, yes, they're predominantly Black. However, there are non Black faculty members who are professors, administrators, that are in the HBCUs of today. Another myth that needs to be dispelled about HBCUs is that it does not have lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender students, or even centers to support these students. Now, though HBCUs are Christian based, most of them are, they have progressed by allowing LGBT students organizations on campus. And so they have now evolved and established centers on their campuses to support students within this population. Another myth associated is that they're only Christian students because they were Christian based. Now that has also evolved, and many students that attend HBCU are not just of the Christian denomination, but they're from various denominations, Jews, Muslims, you can name them. There are students who represent at least one of each religion at these institutions. One that definitely must be dispelled is that HBCUs are unable to advance our nation's higher education goals. And that is certainly not so, because within 2017 to 2018 academic year, at least 48,300 degrees were conferred by HBCUs, with many HBCU students contributing significantly to the STEM field. HBCUs also produce many great role models, and one of which we recently became very familiar with, Kamala Harris. She's now our Vice President of the United States. Now, before Ms. Taylor dives into the HBCU transfer process here at LFCC, I wanted to touch on the benefits that are associated if students should attend an HBCU. And number one, low cost and affordability. Now, most HBCU cost of tuition are lower when compared to other colleges and universities, and at least 30% less when compared to other colleges, according to the UNCF statistics. Another benefit is that HBCUs tend to meet the needs of low-income first-generation students. Now, remember, that was the basis of their foundation to be there for students of African descent. And most of those students actually fell into that category, low income first generation. So if LFCC students do fall within this population, regardless of race, then this HBCUs may be a good option. Some of the ways they do meet the needs of our students is with the resources that they offer our students through scholarships and grants. And do know that we have some land grants, which Ms. Taylor will touch on a little later on, but most of these institutions do have those special type grants and scholarships there for students who are within this category. Another benefit is the quality of education. Now, HBCU offer a rigorous curriculum, and many have produced members of Congress. We have CEOs, engineers, professors, and most importantly, lawyers. And so they do offer that quality of education despite what others may say. Now, they also offer competitive programs, interdisciplinary concentrations. So if you're a student that would like to major in more than one category or would like to merge majors together in order to reach your career goal, HBCUs is a good place to consider. Now, the most popular Greek life at HBCUs. Now, this allows students to also to experience networking experiences in order to enrich their college careers. Now, students through Greek life and other organizations on campus are able to network and to meet other elite or alumni who have made significant marks within our society. And that is one of the very important benefits of attending an HBCU. Now, most HBCUs have a nurturing environment. Now, this is very visible by the family orientation that many of these HBCU have whenever you step foot on that campus. And so that is one thing that students that I've researched loved about HBCUs. Most importantly, the great role models. I've mentioned Kamala Harris, but you also have Oprah Winfrey, you have Martin Luther King Jr., and many others that had stamped or made their mark on society throughout, our lifetime. Now, before students do transfer, there are a couple important things that I like to discuss and allow students to know is that you must first plan ahead. Meet with your advisors, meet with myself, Lavonda, or whoever your advisor is on the LFCC campus. Then review the different institutions. So look on our transfer process list, and I believe Kelly is going to post a few of those transfer with the schools in the chat a little later on once Lavonda is touching on those schools. But look at the LFCC transfer page to see all the different transfer institutions that we have guaranteed admission agreement with. Also, ask yourself, are there any matriculation agreements? So that's the guaranteed admission agreement that I discussed with you. Do they offer your major? That's the main thing that you must first establish. Is the school you are considering offering your major? So whenever planning or considering an HBCU, definitely look to see if they offer your major. And is it a right fit for you? Now, yes, we are discussing HBCUs, but not HBCU may not be the fit for everyone. But I always encourage students to at least visit that campus, get a feel of the atmosphere. Now, the most important thing with HBCUs, even if you are not, if you are a non-Black or you identify yourself as a non-Black student, please note that this atmosphere, you may be able to learn a lot from, the diversity that is presented on their campus. And so don't count yourself out. Also ask yourself, is there any type of scholarships that I may be able to, gain from attending an HBCU? And most importantly, always double check the deadline to make sure that whatever classes you're taking lines up to where you're finishing on time and you're applying to those institutions on time. Now I'll pass the baton on to Ms. Taylor, who will discuss other HBCUs in and around our area.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you mute? Sorry, that's better. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to highlight some of the HBCUs that are in and around our area. As you can see, the ones that are highlighted in yellow are actually universities that Lord Fairfax has guaranteed admissions agreements with. So I'm going to cover some of those today in our presentation. So a guaranteed admissions agreement is LFCC offers these for students as a path, as a gateway to many Commonwealth four-year colleges and universities. These through these agreements, students who graduate from LFCC or one of Virginia's 23 community colleges with an associate's degree and a minimum GPA, um, they may obtain a guarantee admissions into these specific colleges and universities in the Commonwealth and the surrounding areas. So, although each school is similar in origin and purpose, each has its own flavor and culture. The following slides are designed to provide just an overview of each of the schools. So, we'll start with Virginia Union University. I'm going to put a link for the guaranteed admissions agreement and also for virtual tour of Virginia Union in the chat. So Virginia Union was home to about 1,451 undergraduate students in 2019. Virginia Union University is a small private university located in Richmond, Virginia. It has an urban setting and might be suited best for students who like fast-paced city life because it's in Richmond. The College of Engineering and Agriculture at Howard University, this is something you might not have known, actually has an agreement to cooperate with selected universities and programs that will enable students to earn a Bachelor's of Arts degree from their home institution and also receive a Bachelor's of Science degree from Howard University. Currently, Howard School of Engineering and Computer Science have a relationship with Virginia Union. So given the cultural inclination, students can consider Virginia Union if they're thinking about transferring to a small school or one with a Christian learning base, such as Liberty University or Christopher Newport University. For students that are at Lord Fairfax and interested in transferring to Virginia Union University, for the guaranteed admission, you do need to maintain a 2.0 GPA or higher. However, if you're interested in incentive grants, you will need to have at least a 2.5 GPA, and scholarship consideration only comes to play if you have at least a 3.0 GPA. Now let's talk about Virginia State University. Virginia State University was home to about 7,715 undergraduate students in 2019. Virginia State is a small university located in Petersburg, Virginia, which is about a 30-minute drive from Richmond, Virginia. So VSU offers a safe suburban environment, many amenities of city living without the constant hum of the city. So one fact you may not know about Virginia State University is that it is one of 2 land-grant universities in the state of Virginia, the other being Virginia Tech. So a land-grant university receives direct payment of federal grant funds, and these funds are used as an agricultural experiment station in connection with land-grant institutions. So historically, land-grant institutions were innovative ways of supporting the country through economic growth and in key fields like agriculture, science, and engineering. And while also providing residents of all social classes a chance to better their station in life through higher education. So while college costs have risen astronomically over the years, attending a university of this kind may be a unique opportunity for a world-class education without the sticker shock of a private institution. So given its cultural factors and academic offerings, students should consider Virginia State University if they're thinking about applying for Virginia Tech for majors like agriculture, engineering, or technology. And I will provide some links in the chat on the guaranteed admission for Virginia State and also a tour, a virtual tour. So for LFCC students that are considering transferring to Virginia State University, we do have a guaranteed admissions agreement. You must maintain a 2.0 GPA. If you are in need of founders, there is a foundership scholarship that is available for $6,500 if you can maintain a 3.0 GPA. So Virginia State University offers lots of scholarships, but many of them are based off of the major that you decide to pursue. Okay, and the last college that I want to highlight is Norfolk State University. So Norfolk State University was home to 7,172 undergraduate students in 2019. Norfolk State University is a public university located in Norfolk, Virginia. And NSU has an urban setting and may be best suited for students who like a fast-paced city life. Norfolk University it prides itself on being one of the largest predominantly Black institutions in our nation. Furthermore, it is committed to pursuing its vital role as serving the people of the Hampton Roads area. Norfolk State University is public, urban, comprehensive university offering programs at the undergraduate and graduate levels. And given its cultural factors and demographic location near the beach, students should consider Virginia State University. Should consider Norfolk State University. And for our students at Lord Fairfax, we do have a guaranteed admissions agreement to Norfolk State. You must maintain at least a 2.0 GPA. And if you want to pursue institution grants and scholarships, you will need to maintain a 2.5 GPA or higher. I will share in the chat the links for a virtual tour for Norfolk State and also our guaranteed admissions agreements. So now we'll offer a personal perspective of transferring from Lord Fairfax Community College to an HBCU from our alum, Briana Hudson.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hopefully that's a yes. Let me double check. Perfect. I saw a thumbs up. There we go. That's all I needed. I'm just going to have just a quick little dialogue with you. Thank you so much, Taj and Lavonda, for having me here to just give my experience on my beautiful HBCU. I did graduate from Lord Fairfax Community College in 2013, 2014, something like that, in that area. Then went on ahead and transferred to Norfolk State University, behold the green and gold. And from there, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in communications in 2016. Now, I do have to back up and give you a little bit more past summary of myself. Straight coming from high school, I went directly to Shepherd University. The one thing that is so amazing that I think of as a blessing is that I was able to really get the experience of all types of colleges, literally. I went to Shepherd University, which was a PWI, a predominantly white institution. Transferred there, went to Lord Fairfax Community College. Then I went to an HBCU, Norfolk State University. And from there, I even went a step higher, got my master's degree in journalism, going to a Christian college. Yeah, I had a little bit of it all, but I can definitely say that LFCC, preparation, and Norfolk State University were definitely the better decisions that I ever made. And I'm not getting paid to say that, so I promise you they were great. And I'm going to delve deeper into that here in a little bit. But I knew after going to Shepherd University that I really wanted to have that HBCU experience. Why? Well, for that one semester at Shepherd University, I didn't have the best experience. I was called the N-word one too many times on that campus, and that was not a good feeling. So from there, I said, well, I know I want to go to an HBCU. I want to see what it's like to really be around people who look like me. So from there, I went to Lord Fairfax because I knew I wanted to go ahead and just get some credits in so that I could be able to transfer, save some money up, do what I had to do. And it's amazing because Lord Fairfax really made it so that I was prepared for Norfolk State University. I'll delve deeper into that in a minute too. So with why I chose an HBCU is because historically Black colleges and universities were established to serve the educational needs of Black Americans. Prior to the time of their establishment and for many, many years afterwards, Blacks were generally denied admission to traditionally white institutions. So that in itself was like, okay, that right there said a lot for me. And then I was able to go and visit different HBCUs, just like Ashley, I believe, who commented saying that she wanted to go to Howard University. That was my first pick. Howard University, that's like the mecca of HBCUs, right? So that was my first pick. But then once I started looking deeper at that private institution cost, I said, okay, let's go in a different direction. And that's okay too. So I started looking in-state. I looked into the universities within Virginia. I looked at Hampton University, which is another private institution. So the tuition was much higher. I looked into Norfolk State. I looked into Virginia State. I'm telling you, walk in that campus of Norfolk State, oh child, It was like home. It was home, but it's like growing up, I've always been around. I went to Sharando High School, so if you're from the area, you know you're around mostly white people, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But I knew for myself, I wanted to be around people who look like me. I wanted to really experience what it's like for Black people to get together daily and make positive things happen. So that's why I also chose to go to an HBCU. Now, I'm just going to kind of go off of a lot of things that Taj said, because everything she said, I'm really just going to just confirm it all for you. The proper education at an HBCU, you will be pushed. However, you will graduate being able to compete with anybody who graduated from any PWI, any HBCU when it comes to career development. I say that because I remember vividly one class that I took, Dr. Ticton's media law class. Oh my gosh. Most people failed the first time around. I lied to you not. I'm literally sitting there on the floor. I was prepared though, because I was already told about this class. So I'm sitting there front row, got my pen, got the recording, and I'm going. My hand did not stop. So I'm just sitting there taking these notes, and I knew it was going to be a tough class to get through. So I prepared myself. Next thing you know, night after night after night, all hours of the morning, I'm sitting there going through my law text, going over case studies, typing over here, writing over here, highlighting this. But it was worth it. It was all worth it. So that's why I say HBCUs will still push you. Don't feel like you're not going to get a lesser education because it's an HBCU. If anything, it's going to push you even more so that you'll be able to still compete with everyone else at different institutions. So from there, HBCUs also do provide that smaller classroom setting, which is so beautiful. Each professor that I came into contact with, literally, you could tell they weren't there just for a check. They really wanted the betterment of each and every single student within that classroom. So that was really beautiful for me. If you're like me, you may have had thoughts of acceptance by peers. Oh my goodness, I've come across a lot of different, I've come across a lot of different students who actually thought to themselves, am I Black enough? Am I too Black? For white students, I'm white. This is an HBCU. Will I be accepted? Absolutely, 110%. There, definitely for Norfolk State, you will definitely find your niche. You'll find your clique. Everybody in there is so welcoming. Just like Taj said, if you don't know for sure whether that's where you want to go, at least just visit. Just visit. It's amazing because it wasn't until an HBCU that I really learned the history of my people. I say that because growing all through the public school system, literally from elementary to middle school to high school, unfortunately, even through college, I was always told that Black people, we were slaves. That's it. Boom. Nothing more to us. That's what I've always been told. It wasn't until I went to an HBCU that I was taught that we were actually kings and queens and doctors and sculptors, farmers and musicians, scientists and architects from the motherland. We were transformed into slaves. And that is how the beautiful country of America was built and created. So that in itself right there was something that was so beautiful to me to be, and it empowered me. And it's not to throw shade on nobody at all, but it helps me to know that, okay, I'm more than just what I've been told all these years of my life. And I think it's just something that is really beautiful to just hold on to. It wasn't even until an HBCU that I truly learned to love the melanin that consumes me. At an HBCU, you will not be the minority. Yeah, that is what it is. And for white people, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. We are Black people. We are so accepting. We love everybody, and we always want to have a good time. And if you're willing to have a good time, then you're going to enjoy it. So just like Taj said, it's never to exclude anybody who isn't Black. That's not what it is. But at the end of the day, it was built because we just weren't getting that equal education that we deserved at the end of the day. So I hope you guys, if you don't choose to go to an HBCU, I hope that you at least just take a visit, breathe in that HBCU air a little bit, go to a football game, and just walk the campus. Just walk the campus, and many of the campuses are filled with so much history. And I promise you won't regret it. I promise. Thank you so much, Taj and Lavonda, for having me speak with everybody. I wish you all the best too.
You are so welcome. Thanks for being here, Briana, and sharing your experience with us. Now, at this time, we would like to open the floor for any questions that anyone may have.
Before we do the questions and answers, I just wanted to remind everyone that there will be a drawing for a $100 bookstore gift card. After we do the questions and answers, we'll announce the winner.
Awesome. Anyone have any question? Feel free to unmute your mic or even place it in the chat if you are not comfortable speaking over the mic. Anyone have any questions in particular about transfer process, about the HBCU experience? All right, so Kelly, do you want to move straight to the drawing?
Sure, I'm happy to. And the way that we're going to do this is have either Taj or Lavonda pick a random number between 1 and 8. I've randomly assigned your names and numbers, so whatever number they choose. Oh, thank you, Ashley. She says, no question, but you all are extremely inspiring. Yes. But anyway, yes, so they will have your fate or their hands. So if you want, Taj, go ahead and pick a number between 1 and 8.
So I'm going to choose my favorite number, 7.
Okay, who is Brad? I have a Brad here.
Hi, Kelly. This is Brad. I'm going to ask you to pick someone else's name. With my affiliation with Lord Fairfax, I just wouldn't feel right.
Oh, sounds good. All right, pick another number.
All right, I'm going to jump and go to 5.
Alicia Dean. Is Alicia still here?
Yes.
Awesome. So Alicia, if you want to go ahead and drop your email in the chat, either to me privately or to Taj or Lavonda, we can make sure that you get that gift card to the bookstore. And you can use this on textbooks, you can use it on LFCC apparel or other school supplies that you might need.
Okay.
Awesome, congratulations.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right, so one last call. If you have any questions that you feel free to ask. We just have about 1 minute, and then if not, we will just put it to a close. No questions, anyone?
Thank you all for joining. That makes me feel good we had so many participants.
Right.
Briana,
Well,
you did amazing.
yes, you sure did. You sure did. So we want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for taking the time to listen and to learn about HBCUs. If you are interested, remember the steps I've highlighted. Please, it is so important to meet with your advisors here at LFCC. And you don't have to be a sophomore to start thinking about transferring. You can do it right out the gate. As soon as you're here at Lord Fairfax Community College and you meet with your advisor for the first time, you can go ahead and schedule an appointment to discuss transfer. We know it may be new to you, but that is why we are here. We are here to give you the information that you do need in order to progress in your college career. So thank you everyone for attending. Goodbye.
Bye.